So hi everybody. So it's January 24th, 2023, and let's kind of summarize where we are on this Ukraine thing. So one of the reasons Russia attacked Ukraine is that they are our Slavic brothers, and we need to bring the brothers into the family. We all need to be part of Russia because we're brothers. Well, how is Russia treating their brothers right now? They've destroyed Mariupol, Soledar, Bakhmut, all kinds of cities are destroyed. Is that really how you treat your brothers? Well, then, another reason Russia said it needed to attack Ukraine is because, well, they were ready to attack us. Well, and that they were ready to, and we needed to demilitarize them. Okay? Well, had they been ready to attack, when the Russians went into Ukraine, they would have found armor formations in staging areas ready to launch into Russia. They would have found other infantry assault troops in staging areas getting ready to attack. They would have seen all kinds of logistics trains ready to support those advancing those troops. They would have seen field hospitals set up in order to take care of the wounded. But yet, there was none of that. None of that. So how the heck was Ukraine ready or about to attack Russia? That's false. Then there was the story about, well, they attacked Ukraine because they needed to denazify it. Well, had there been that much Nazis in there that Russia felt compelled to do something about it, don't you think that Germany and Poland would have been all over that? Like, hey, we can't have that. No, we went through all that Nazi stuff before. We're not going to tolerate that anymore. Or don't you think any of the 150 or 170 countries around the world would have reported on that? All the Nazism in Ukraine? But yet again, there was none of that. Well, then Russia said, well, when we say Nazis, we don't mean Nazis like in Germany. We mean a Nazi is any government that is not like ours. Really? That means, assuming Russia is the only country with its type of government, well then every country in the world is a Nazi, is run by Nazis. That's just stupid, all right? Then, okay, recently they justified the attack because now it's a holy war against all the rampant Satanism in Ukraine. Satanism, it's a holy war. Putin, as the holder of the Eastern Orthodox Church, the Russian Orthodox Church, says we must attack Ukraine to get rid of all the Satanists. Well, again, if there was that much there in Ukraine, don't you think it would be all over the news? Europe has free press. Unlike in Russia, Europe has free press. And the United States does too. So had there been that much Satanism that Russia just had to launch a holy war against Ukraine, you'd think it would be on the news. But it's not. Then there was a story, well, Putin, he wants to restore the glory of the Soviet Union. And therefore Russia is on, what was the phrase? Unlimited expansion of Russia. Unlimited expansion. Well, colonialism is done. We can't go around conquering countries and saying, well, now they're part of us. So that's no, we don't do that anymore. That's illegal. That's not there. Well, then they said, well, there were there were Russians in Ukraine that were treated badly, and we had to attack Ukraine because we had to stop Ukraine from the Ukrainians in Ukraine from hurting the Russians in Ukraine. The genocide. Oh yeah, the genocide. They're killing everybody. Well, again, had there been genocide, had there been mass graves, had there been any roundups of Russians beating on doors, asking people if they spoke Russian or they owed allegiance to the Russian people, again, that would have been on the news too. And it wasn't. Especially the Jewish people that were rounded up, various other ethnicities that were rounded up by the Nazis in Germany. Those countries would have been there. Hey, we can't have this genocide, but there wasn't. It wasn't there. And then it was like, well, they're living there and they have allegiance to Russia, so therefore we need to conquer it so that they could be pumped, so that that part where they live can be part of Russia. Well, you know, if they want to be in Russia, well, then they move there. Move there. Okay? Now, there are English-speaking people in Canada, just north of the United States. We could just as well say, hey, you know, they speak English, we speak English, let's conquer that and we'll make America bigger. Well, America hasn't grown in what, a century, at least. And now here Russia is trying to grow. And then, okay, and I understand that a lot of the Russian people are really, really angry at all the death and destruction that Ukraine is raining on the Russian troops. Well, you can't get mad at someone for defending themselves against you. Again, had Russia not attacked Ukraine, there would be peace. And again, Putin stole Crimea in 2014. Again, why? Why? Did Ukraine stop the Russians from going there? I don't think so. It was a free country. No, there was no borders. Well, there were borders, but it was easy to go to and from. So there was no stopping the Russians from going there and enjoying the resorts and stuff. But yet Putin, the day after the Olympics, he attacked Ukraine and stole Crimea. Ukraine was completely unprepared, and it was an easy win for Russia. And there it all began. So, all right, so I gotta go. But, you know, the Russians should not be, they should be upset about all the death and destruction, but not because Ukraine is causing it, but because Putin started it.